Hello, YouTube again. Um, Thor: The Dark World. So, I don't really know what to say about Thor: The Dark World or how to begin Thor: The Dark World. I mean, what am I supposed to say to these Marvel movies now? I mean, it's just you already know I'm gonna say that it was pretty good. I mean, it's like that's kind of the general consensus of the Marvel movies nowadays. I mean, you might not like some of them, but there's a certain likability factor to these movies that even if you don't really like the hero that it's portraying or even the movie itself, there's this kind of like I guess you can't fully, to me at least, or how I see it, you can't really fully hate these movies because there's just a certain kind of funness to the Marvel movies, or specifically the cinematic Marvel universe. Uh, that being said, Thor: The Dark World, I mean, short review, I liked it, I guess, but I mean that's not saying much. It's I liked it, but it didn't stand out from the other, Marvel movies. Like it didn't have to stand out, but it's just like you're kind of used to the whole Marvel formula at this point, so it's kind of just like, yeah. Let me explain. Let's start with pros. Thor: The Dark World. When we last saw Thor at the end of Avengers, he was taking Loki back to Asgard, and now Loki has to stand trial, and it's basically what happened after that. New villains, and this is kind of the formula for these Marvel movies now, that even though it's showing the lives of these heroes like after what happened in the events in Avengers, they keep doing this thing where they introduce a new villain in each movie, and I don't know if that works in the end, mainly because I feel like some villains they use for standalone movies could have been used in as like big franchise villains. I mean, they use Loki for the Avengers, but there's other villains in the series that they could have used that the whole Avengers team could have taken on, like Red Skull or what's his face? Shit, the Mandarin. I'm not even gonna talk about the Mandarin right now, but um, that's the thing. I don't really like that formula because it's like it kind of diminishes the importance of some of the villains they use, and like I feel like the Dark Makers could have easily been an Avengers 2 type villain. Like, okay, I know Ultron and eventually Thanos are going to be the series main villains, but it's just uh I don't know. I feel like they kind of wasted. I know I'm supposed to start with pros right now, but I'm going into a little bit into cons. Like I feel like this movie kind of wasted the Dark Makers a bit, but let's get to there eventually. Let's stick with pros. So standard Marvel, like you have Thor doing his thing, and Loki is sent to prison, and the movie is about this legacy of the Dark Makers and how they want to destroy the world because of a war that happened between the Asgardians and the Dark Makers in the past. And hang on, wait a minute. They're not called the Dark Makers. Hold on. I have my laptop out. Let me look this up. I'm confusing Dark Makers with something else. Uh, Dark Elves. Oh, that's embarrassing. Sorry. Dark Elves. Uh, I'm sorry. So the Dark Elves and the Asgardians, they fought each other in the past, and the Dark Elves like were defeated, but they were never fully wiped out, and they kind of just floated in like deep space bit, and now they're back because that's how they kind of bring back the Natalie Portman character. That she kind of discovers what the Dark Elves are trying to find, or yeah. And so basically, this movie's your standard like Thor has to stop the Dark Elves from destroying the world, and blah blah blah. You already everyone knows this formula. Um, and I guess that's not bad. I mean, the standard, well, it's a pro. The standard Marvel formula, like there's a villain, hero has to do stuff, and you know the hero's gonna win because you know that friggin' Avengers 2 is coming out soon. I mean, not soon, but eventually. So they can't have Thor lose here because it's too early. So it's not bad, I guess. The other pros, I listed comedy as a pro. I don't know if that's a pro. I actually listed comedy as a negative also. I can go into that a little bit, but um, Thor: The Dark World actually had a lot of comedy. I feel like compared to the other Marvel movies, this is probably the most comedy-filled movie. Like, I haven't seen Loki on this level of smart assness in a while. Like in Thor 1 he was kind of smart ass, but he was also really solemn. And in Avengers he was kind of that way too. Here, I don't know. He just turned into a smart ass in this movie. Like it just felt like, and it's not just Loki, like every other character was, there's each character had their moment where they got played up for laughs. And uh, I guess it worked because it was entertaining, but I don't know, it kind of took away from the movie a bit. It kind of made it less serious. Like, okay, this is, I can't avoid it. On the pro side, the comedy was pretty good. Like it was funny, but on the negative side, it made the tone really uneven. Like, there's this part of the movie where, okay, I'm not gonna spoil, but something bad happens to a character, and Thor is really sad about it. And then the next scene is there's a scene where Thor in is getting jealous because he thinks Natalie Portman has is seeing someone behind him, and this scene happened right after the sad scene, so it's just like I understand the need for comedy in Marvel movies, but it's just there's a time and place for the comedy, you know. It's just uh, it could have been better timed. That's what I'm trying to say. Um, Back to pros, I guess. Loki was a highlight of the movie, like probably the only highlight of the movie. And oh, not really. Okay, what this movie did that was an improvement over Iron Man 3 is because Iron Man 3 kind of felt more like a filler. It didn't really further the Marvel Universe storyline, except the fact that Iron Man no longer needs his chest thing. Thor: The Dark World actually pushed the storyline quite a bit, because I'm not gonna. Should I spoil? No, I'm not gonna spoil. Because the very end of the movie, there's two big changes to the story, to the universe, that will, like, change how the future events go. So even though, Iron Man is more, I guess, is arguably more popular, it's Thor: The Dark World that had the more important movie. That's kind of strange, but yeah, going to cons, I already mentioned the comedy and the uneven tone. The other con was the rush romance and subplots. Like, Natalie Portman's character, I can't forget. Hold on, let me look at it. I can't believe I can't remember her name. Jane Foster, sorry. So Jane Foster's already together with Thor, so that's been established since the first movie. But the thing is, when they reintroduce Jane Foster, it's just really, really fast, and there's no like time for like just catching up. They just immediately get into it. It's just kind of jarring. Like the romance scenes were kind of awkward, and I don't know. I think it's just me, but I don't think the chemistry between Natalie Portman and Chris Hemsworth. Wait, yeah, it wasn't. It was there-ish. I don't know. I didn't really sense a lot of chemistry. Like it was there. You could tell they're comfortable with each other. I just think it was still a little too awkward, but it could be just the writing. But I also didn't really like the subplots. I felt like there's too many subplots that took away from the whole movie. Like the subplot with Jane Foster's intern, who now has her own intern, and the subplot about the the other Doctor. It's just the other subplots felt like a mess. And I mean, there's the whole big battle thing too, which I think, it's the highlight of any Marvel movie. It's just when I think about the big battle in this movie, it's just at least Marvel does a good job of building up to the final battle. Here it's just like they get together at the same place, but it's just the build up to it wasn't very strong. Like I said, the comedy kind of killed the build, like the suspense. So it's like the entire final battle was even not very well thought out. It was just there's a lot of moments of like awkwardly placed comedy during the final battle. It's just I mean it wasn't bad. It was just like it was just a really awkward sequence of like comedy then action. And it's not just the final battle, it's the entire movie that's has that problem. So I'm gonna wrap this up because I don't have anything else to say. Thor: The Dark World, it's sort of good, not really that bad, but at the same time, meh, it's passable, I guess. If you want to follow the Marvel film universe, this is definitely a movie you can't skip out on. But at the same time, it's uh, felt like I was being trolled by this movie, so it's sort of okay. That's what I have to say about Thor: The Dark World. Okay.